In the tranquil land of the Shire, a young hobbit named Frodo Baggins inherits a mysterious ring from his uncle Bilbo.
Little does he know, it's the One Ring forged by the Dark Lord Sauron.
Wait, One Ring? Sauron?
Oh yeah, how could we forget to include the 4-minute long exposition dump at the beginning of the movie?
I mean, would you rather us add another 6 hours of runtime so that we can go into that story?
Yes.
I mean, it's no Star Wars opening crawl, but...
Okay then, exposition dump it is.
It began with the forging of the Great Rings. 3 were given to the elves, 7 to the dwarf lords, and 9 rings were gifted to the race of men. 1 ring to rule them all.
Guided by the wizard Gandalf, Frodo, along with his fellow hobbits, Samwise Gamgee, Merry Brainibuck, and Pippin Took, flee the terrifying ring wraith who seeks the ring.
Oh cool, this is where we meet Tom Bombadil, right?
At the council in Rivendell, a diverse group forms a fellowship to destroy the ring.
The fellowship includes Frodo, Sam, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Boromir, Gandalf, Merry, and Pippin.
After failing to pass over the mountains of Caradhras, they decide to go under the mountain through the mines of Moria.
Here they discover that their resident dwarf Gimli has relatives that live in Moria.
Well, not anymore, but anyways, they encounter many enemies, including many goblins and a cave troll.
And then finally, a Balrog of Morgoth.
Who's Morgoth?
That is a much longer story for another time. Basically, a Balrog is a demon.
To save the fellowship and stall the Balrog, Gandalf sacrifices himself.
Reeling from the loss of Gandalf, the fellowship goes to Lothlorien, where they meet Galadriel.
The narrator.
Right. She gives them each a gift for their journey, and then they continue towards Mount Doom.
Afterwards, Boromir is tempted by the ring several times before he caves in and attacks Frodo, wanting the ring to protect his people.
After Frodo escapes him, the Fellowship is caught by a group of orcs and fighting Uruk-hai that have been following them.
Boromir redeems himself, protecting Merry and Pippin from attacking orcs, but losing his life. After he is defeated, the orcs take Merry and Pippin, believing they have the ring.
Frodo decides he can't trust anyone to not be tempted by the One Ring, and he doesn't want anyone else to get hurt either. So he takes off on his own.
Sam catches up to him as he is leaving, and Frodo tells him that he is going alone. To which Sam replies,
"Of course you are, and I'm coming with you!"
With Sam and Frodo gone, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli decide to follow after the Uruks to save Merry and Pippin.
Well, that brings us to the end of Fellowship of the Ring. But one does not simply just watch a single Lord of the Rings movie. So on to the next one.
Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee continue their journey to Mordor to destroy the One Ring, while Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli pursue the Uruk-hai, who captured Merry and Pippin.
Frodo and Sam's journey is perilous, as they are pursued by the treacherous Gollum, who was once the ring's possessor.
After Frodo and Sam capture the creature Gollum, he joins them, providing a constant reminder why you should never skip a dental checkup.
Also giving them a guide because they are very, very lost.
Gollum's internal struggle for his desire for the One Ring and his lingering humanity becomes a central theme.
Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli track the Uruk-hai to the kingdom of Rohan, where they encounter a group of riders who tell them that the king's steward, Wormtongue, has been poisoning the king's mind under the direction of Saruman. They find King Theoden in a desperate need of a makeover and an exorcist.
Gandalf, who happens to be a pro at both of these things, returns Theoden to his normal self.
King Theoden takes this opportunity to banish Wormtongue from Rohan. Wormtongue then scurries off to Saruman, his true master.
Saruman has been making orcs and Uruk-hai, and has been sending them to attack Rohan's smaller villages, making their way to Edoras, the capital.
Against Gandalf's counsel, Theoden decides to take his people to a stronghold called Helm's Deep.
As everyone leaves for Helm's Deep, Gandalf heads out on his own.
Hey, even wizards got errands to run.
The Battle of Helm's Deep ensues. a desperate stand against Saruman's vast army. In the midst of the battle, Gandalf the White arrives with reinforcements, the Riders of Rohan from earlier, including Theoden's nephew Éomer. With their help, they turn the tide and defeat Saruman's forces.
Meanwhile, Merry and Pippin have escaped the orcs and befriended the Ents, who are aroused to action when they learn of Saruman's destruction of their force. The Ents march on Isengard, flooding the area and defeating Saruman's fortress.
Frodo, Sam, and Gollum continue their arduous journey towards Mount Doom. Gollum's internal struggle intensifies, and Frodo's burden becomes increasingly heavy.
With the growing relationship between Frodo and Gollum, Frodo reminds him of his name when he was a hobbit, Smeagol. This causes Smeagol to find his more good side.
Before the movie ends, Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol are captured by Faramir, the brother of Boromir. Meanwhile, Gandalf, along with Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Theoden, travel to Isengard after the Battle of Helm's Deep is won.
There they find Saruman and Wormtongue stuck at the top of the tower, with Treebeard and the other Ents standing guard.
Also Merry and Pippin, who are definitely not high.
After talking to Saruman for a few minutes, trying to convince him to surrender, Saruman spurns Wormtongue, and when he isn't paying attention, Wormtongue stabs him in the back.
Literally.
When stabbed, Saruman falls into the water that remains from the Ents flooding Isengard. He also drops a big shiny
Right, palantir, that Pippin grabs, Gandalf takes it from him, and then they return to Edoras. However, Pippin cannot stop thinking about the big shiny ball palantir, so he sneaks over to look at it for one last time, while Gandalf is sleeping. Touching it causes him to get stuck to it, as it burns his hands and gives Sauron a one-way ticket into Pippin's mind.
His screaming wakes up everyone. Aragorn grabs it from him, only to pass out almost immediately.
Gandalf finally wakes up and throws a blanket over it, turning to Pippin, calling him a fool of a took, before he sees the hobbit is unresponsive, possibly dead.
Everything goes quiet as Gandalf tends to him, muttering under his breath in a wizardy way.
Pippin wakes and describes seeing a dead white tree and a burning city. He also describes Sauron interrogating him about the ring.
Meanwhile, Frodo, Sam, and Gollum are in the captivity of Faramir, who tries to have Gollum killed until Frodo asks him to stop.
Oh, that's nice.
They do still beat him for information, though.
That's less nice.
By interrogating Smeagol, they discover that Frodo possesses the One Ring, so Faramir decides to take them back to Gondor, his home country, in hopes that the ring will help them against the mighty Mordor.
On their way to Minas Tirith, they stop by a near city, Osgiliath. Here, he decides to let them go after seeing the effects the ring has on Frodo and Gollum.
Gollum, feeling betrayed by Frodo because of the beating he received, decides to lead them down a more dangerous path in hopes of taking the ring after they are dead.
Back to our heroes, Gandalf leaves for Minas Tirith, taking Pippin with him to keep him safe, as Sauron now believes that he has the ring.
When they get there, they meet Boromir and Faramir's father,
also the steward of Gondor.
Pippin then pledges service to Denethor in return for Boromir saving his life.
That's not good, because Denethor is crazy.
Fool of a took.
The Riders of Rohan, along with our wonderful trio, head towards Minas Tirith as well, riding out to help Gondor in a huge battle that is approaching.
Halfway there, the trio splits off after Aragorn receives Narsil, now reforged into Anduril, the sword that belonged to his ancestor Isildur and was used to cut the ring from Sauron's hand. They then head into the mountain, to the paths of the dead.
Oh, sounds lovely.
In these lovely paths, they encounter the dead.
Wait a minute, that wasn't in the brochure.
After recruiting the dead for their fight for Minas Tirith, they are back on the path.
Back with the Riders of Rohan, we find out that Éowyn and Merry are sneaking into the ranks of Rohan's soldiers so that they can fight for their friends as well.
In Gondor, we find Faramir has been nearly killed in a suicide mission his father sent him on. This is the last straw for Denethor, who now completely cracked, decides to burn his son and himself alive.
Gandalf and Pippin manage to save Faramir, but Denethor, unfortunately, does an impression of a falling star.
Not a very good one.
With the help of the Riders of Rohan and the dead, they handedly win the battle for Pelennor Fields.
Meanwhile, Gollum has led Frodo and Sam to a very spooky staircase. He then frames Sam for eating all their food, so Frodo tells him to go home.
At the top of these spooky stairs is a tunnel. Once inside, Gollum seemingly disappears, and Frodo is stalked by an enormous spider for an unnerving amount of time until she catches up with him.
Sam turns back after seeing their food at the bottom of the steps, now knowing for sure that Gollum threw it down the stairs.
When he finds Frodo, there's a slight inconvenience of the fact that Shelob is holding him, dragging him away for a little midnight snack.
After a good battle between Sam and Shelob, Shelob crawls away to nurse her wounds. Sam goes to Frodo, believing he is dead, and takes the ring to finish the mission.
However, he hears some orcs coming and has to hide. The orcs inspects Frodo's body and declare that he's not dead, simply paralyzed. They take Frodo into Mordor to interrogate him about why he was there, and then probably kill him.
Sam follows them, saving Frodo from the orcs, and then they disguise themselves as orcs and make their way to Mount Doom.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Fellowship, still holding out hope that Frodo and Sam are alive, decide to attack Mordor in hopes of distracting the Eye of Sauron and the majority of his armies.
While climbing Mount Doom, Sam and Frodo are attacked by Gollum, who Sam knocked out with a rock.
Frodo collapses from the weight of the ring, so Sam carries him up the mountain to the entrance.
But then, at the last second, greed takes over Frodo and he decides not to destroy the ring. He slips it on and disappears, but Gollum, who has caught up with them now, jumps on him and bites off his finger, and the ring with it.
Ouch!
Gollum, now in contact with the One Ring for the first time since Bilbo stole it from him, is overcome with glee, jumping with delight until Frodo tackles him off the ledge.
Gollum falls straight into the lava, along with the ring, but Frodo managed to catch the ledge, and Sam helps him up.
They then go outside the mountain and sit down, sure they are going to die now, as the volcano erupts around them.
Until the Great Eagles arrive to save them, sent by Gandalf.
You know, it seems like maybe those could have been useful in some other way.
No.
Frodo wakes up in Rivendell, surrounded by his friends, and not long after they attend the crowning of Aragorn and the return of the king.
Roll credits.
And now it's finally time for our heroes to return home.
Where they then have to fight off Saruman and... Oh wait, no, that's... He's dead. Right. Never mind, everything's fine, the Shire's fine, it's fine.
In fact, it seems like nothing has changed.
But Frodo has changed. He no longer belongs to the Shire. It has been saved, but not for him.
And so, when the time of the elves is over, and the last of the ring bearers are leaving for the west, Frodo does too. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and comment who your favorite Lord of the Rings character is. Now with that, be sure to join us on our Monday podcast where we dive even deeper into Lord of the Rings. And until next time, have a great day.